Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a week or two since we've last seen you. Every now and then someone needs a vacation, and it was a nice little break. But welcome back to round 14. We are in Miami, South Beach, Hard Rock Stadium. This is the first time ever that the Fat Limits F1 League Tier 1 and Tier 2 both have ever raced in Miami. Well, you may have guessed it. That's because this is the first year it has ever graced the Formula 1 FIA schedule. But first, we must give you all some breaking news hot off the press. China has been added to the schedule for the 20th race spot on the calendar. So round 20 will be the Chinese Grand Prix. And that's right, if you're any good at doing math, we were at 23. We are now at 24 rounds of racing for the Fat Limits F1 League. So we are now 100% into the second half of the season, 57% of the way done. There are 3 drivers very much alive in the championship contention, with a 4th in rather hot pursuit being Pat Dog, but your top 3 are Zeech, Nichols, and Waffles. A good string of races for all of those drivers, each of which have all been a plus or a ×3 winner on the year. We're now hitting the one-shot qualifying with an 18-car field, and Pyrex Prism filling in for the admins and stewards in that Alpine seat alongside our in-car commentator, Big Moist, as always, welcome back, and also Lumpy Cheeks being promoted to Red Bull today.
Oh, shit. No, that's my fault.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that's right, but here we are. We'll have to get that fixed out for the feature race. Who are you normally?
AlphaTauri.
AlphaTauri. You got too excited talking about some sports book and sports betting, and we'll see what it is. But MCU Freedom, rather shocking, sitting in the P1 position here for Mercedes, has really been battling that steering wheel all year. It's taken him probably the better part of 2 to 3 months to finally get his hang of it. But it looks like he very much has figured it out. He has been dominating this lap, leading from the start of his flying lap. But oh no, he spins out. He now drops from P1 immediately back to P16. Oh, we have Zeech hard into the wall. Zeech as well, 2 drivers pushing very, very hard. And we're in P1 and P2 respectively, now back. The Alfa Romeos now catapulting to the front, as Loaded Beast and Pat Dog will both be inside the top 3 and could be in some prime position for constructors points for Alfa Romeo, as Nichols, our second in the point standings, now running and battling for that P1 to P2. He is flirting both ways on that with Loaded, and Loaded's going to go ahead and get it out, but don't count out Pat Dog.
What are you disqualified?
Both disqualified.
John
John C coming off a win on Thursday, Formula whatever. He's going to be certainly follow up on that.
Jesus
a nice top 10 finish in Fat Limits Racing last Wednesday, and then following up with a win next night. I'd say he might be onto something now with a little bit of second half of the season streaking.
Boy. Yeah, but that box that corner and still made top 10.
I didn't even, now that I think back, I didn't even choose a seat because I was distracted, so I don't even think there's another Red Bull driver in tonight, so... I mean, I'm going to switch after
Tomo
the race.
Tomo was trying to make it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll switch when we get back to the lobby.
Let's see, we can fix this to Alpha.
The fact that I'm 1.4 down.
Stewie is
Jesus.
not in the McLaren. That would be J Supreme.
These boys are going to get together these first couple laps.
There's a 1.4 gap from me in the front, and then me to 11th is a 4/10 gap.
Alex Morris is in the Aston Martin tonight, going for constructor points as Matt Attack is serving a one race ban for retaliation on the now Haas driver. We did have a little bit of mid-season shuffling of the teams. Takeshi, I keep wanting to say quantum entanglement. Takeshi up and quit on his contract with the Alfa Orland team, and since moved over to join Priority being in the Haas machines, as Beast has transitioned to Alfa Romeo, which puts those 2 drivers and the team Alfa Romeo in very good contention to potentially close that constructors gap.
Not the gap.
We're now sitting at the loading screen as our players are working on doing a little bit of fine-tuning from our. A lot of these drivers are running very high rear tire pressures for qualifying, but then need to make a quick adjustment. Get those down lower, probably around the 21.3 to 25.8 is kind of that sweet spot for a lot of our drivers, because otherwise those rears are going to heat up way too quick. You're going to see the car become very unbalanced with that rear end want just skirt out underneath them.
I bet you go 21.8 or 21.5.
21.3.
Think so?
I like 3. 3 is a personal favorite for me. I feel like it's a lot more balanced, especially in the later stages of the race. Tires been really getting beat on, especially a course like this. That's very Albert Park. For the Australian Grand Prix, a lot of tight, lateral movements in that back end. It really helps keep those tires a little bit better. As we have 5 red lights, they are now out, and we are away with nobody launching off the line. There we go. A little bit of a delay there. Not sure what happened.
That was a quick
great start for the Red Bull in the back. Lumpy Cheeks making quick use of it, as Takeshi has retired from the session. As you see, he is not allowed to run. He is starting P20 in the feature due to the Classy Maxi rule, which is a lapped car, and it basically impeding lead lap drivers. You are not allowed to battle the lead lap drivers if you are a lap down, especially when you're being passed by those. You need to move over to the side, let them go, and then get back in. The only time you're allowed to pass is if it's really the leader and you are sitting pretty somewhere along passing them on fresh tires without the use of DRS. As Nichols now is getting out to a quick jump over top of Pat Dog and Loaded, a little bit jockeying positions. Not the best start for Loaded as he went from P1 back to P3, but those Alfa Romeos have now very much settled in as they're coming around the turn.
What a move, baby.
We have some side-by-side action here now as Prying Oak and Jamie Shelby. Oh, and Prying Oak misses the corner, goes wide, gets into the pylon, pushes it out, which does cause a little bit of a hold-up there for Hold My Dung, Classy Max, and Big Moist. Big Moist, what did you see happen there?
I think Dung might have got a little loose. They might have got together in the chicane, and I think Prying just kind of tried to seize that gap. Lost trying to make a move.
My straight line speed
the Mercedes and the AMR, Aston Martin, Aramco Racing, Cognizant Racing, however you want to look at it. Oh, and we got another corner cut by Prying Oak.
Yeah,
Not sure exactly what's happening there. That's 2 now, where maybe he was trying to put the car in a place it shouldn't have been.
He gives him a little bump. He's heavy on the brakes.
Ooh, we got glitching everywhere. Big Moist hot on the tail of Classy Maxi, just watching this unfold as we do have a caution. Zeech around, I believe it is. Zeech and John C. both involved. Nope, just John C. solo. Let's go ahead and jump on board and see what's going on with that driver as he now is back up and running. Can't see if there's any damage on that car yet. A little bit, as we do have another caution again now. MCU Freedom going around. He thought he had it figured out, but potentially not the case. As we saw him, he's fast. He was in the front P1 for the majority of that one-shot qualifying, but he did get loose, as did our points leader, Zeech. We're going to go ahead now and ride on board with Loaded, who is about 2 seconds back from Pat Dog. And we're going to see Jamie Shelby really cutting the corner there. Wow.
I just don't understand the second sector on this track.
There's a lot of throttle management on this track. Boy, Maxi.
Ooh, and Jamie Shelby collecting the wall.
Woody's just cutting. Oh my god. If he didn't get a warning there.
Smell you later, Maxi.
Wow. P15 being absolutely manhandled there by Jamie Shelby, cutting a lot of corners. Woody may now up to +5 positions. Well, we do call fat limits for a reason. You can use every bit of the track, but you cannot use the outside parameters of the track in order to overtake a vehicle, or that will be a 1 grid drop. And I can kind of suspect we might see a few submittals tonight for illegal overtakes, as Woody has a very nice run down to the inside. getting around that vehicle of Priority Bean. Very nice move on the inside. A lot of give and take given by these drivers as, oh, Woody gets into the outside wall going into turn 14, then down into turn 15. It doesn't look to have upset the balance of his car too awful much. We're going to jump back up now as Jamie Shelby is trying to really run down Loaded Beast. And Pat Dog hot on the tail of Nichols as well, sitting about a half a second out. DRS going to become very, very crucial here for the remainder of the race, as a lot of these drivers no longer have DRS.
Woody loves just right before the start-finish line, he's just not even on the track. I respect it.
We're going to go ahead and look here a little bit. It does look like, Loaded Beast having some diffuser damage. Takeshi in the pit with the DNF. John C. also on some fresh tires. I lied. He is not on fresh tires. My apologies. Nichols maintaining his lead as Pat Dog picks up a time penalty. He's now going to have to make sure to do some extra pushing as he has a 2-second corner cutting penalty. I believe the 2 seconds is corner cutting, and the +3 is going to be multiple warning infractions or exceeding track limits. Zeech also having a +2 as well as John C. As it stands right now, Loaded Beast and Jamie Shelby both battling very, very hard as we ride on board now with Jamie Shelby, or excuse me, Loaded Beast, trying to use the ERS and DRS to his advantage. DRS active now. 17 left for... Oh, he's going to go to the outside. He's going to try to stick it in. We're going to see what happens here running on board. Both giving a little bit of room. Oh, and Jamie Shelby gets squirrely, trying to keep on the inside and not causing contact with Loaded Beast. Both drivers giving it their absolute all while respecting the space given by one another. The absolute best kind of driving you like to see, as both drivers now can fight to live another day, another turn, and another battle as we come up to 2 more DRS zones for this final lap. Pat Dog also now trying to make... Oh no, that does not sound good. It sounds like our Alpine in-car driver has gone around. Big Voice now going from the top 10, dropping back down to P16. Pat Dog pushing really hard right now on Nichols. May not be all that important to do. He's going to have to yield the position because we do not do anything for sprint race penalties. Now it sounds like Lumpy Cheeks has gone around as well as Big Moist retires from it.
I went
Lumpy
into the
Cheeks
wall
getting in a collision with Pyrex Prism. Both Alpines now starting in the back of the pack for our feature race alongside Takeshi.
Beast.
I got Zeech on my ass right now.
Here's the thing. Let him do his thing. You just focus on you. Pat Dog trying to make every last little bit he can. He is out of ERS. He is relying solely on DRS as we get down into the final few turns. It's going to be Nichols who's going to come around the line for the final time, being in P1, P2, and Loaded Beast picking up P3. The top 3 will finish as they... the order will stand as they finish, with Pat Dog having a large enough gap over Loaded Beast to not have to worry about that 2-second time penalty. So far, a very, very smooth race for our drivers. I think much to everyone's delight. We were expecting a few more cautions, but hey, that was the sprint race. We'll see what the future has in store as both Alfa Romeo drivers finishing in the top 3 in the points. That is 5 valuable constructor points for Alfa Romeo, as Nichols closing that gap ever so slightly on the points each as he collects full 4 sprint race points.
It's alright, all these fucking dumbasses are gonna crash with each other on the fucking feature.
And it'll be very interesting to say the least. We'll see what happens. So far, no incidents in middles. Now it looks like Woody picked up some front wing damage, as did Lumpy Cheeks after getting into the wall there. Tell you what though, those drivers who were running super aggressive and really beating up their tires, Pat Dog and Loaded each with 20% wear on those softs, and Hold My Dung as well. Those 3 drivers were seeing on the telemetry all at 20% or higher wear, while everybody else still in the green, being 10% or less. Each picked up the fastest lap of the sprint. They blistering 128.33. I don't think it was anywhere close. The next closest would have been Freedom at a 29.116.
Alright, let me get in my car. Josh is in my car.
Yeah, some of these dudes are wild. Going wheel to wheel. You know that fucking thing.
Okay. Get any data from that? Wonderful.
Told you, Lumpy. He doesn't actually get any data. He just makes these numbers up every week.
No, I got this. I got the.
He wants us to
no
think he's getting data. He's just numbers in like, yeah, it sounds about right. We'll give this guy fastest lap real quick.
No, that means I'm gonna have to then manually key it all, which kind of sucks, but whatever.
I'm gonna take my fucking wings down, I think, for this race. I had 0 front line, I don't know what I'm saying right now. I had no, like, straight speed there.
What's your depth set at?
I just downloaded a setup that I saw online. Usually what I do. Diff setup is
Probably like 70.
80-52.
Really? 8? That's not bad. 80 is not too bad.
At 18,000 revolutions per minute, this isn't music. This is the scream of science. This is the inner world of pneumatic valve springs, of mean effective pressure, 300 brake horsepower per liter of displacement. The quest for the perfect 4-stroke V8 naturally aspirated reciprocating engine. And in the middle of the hot metal, the carbon, the alloy technology, sits flesh and blood. Rising out of its carbon fiber monocoque, the coolest head. These are the eyes that can pick out a face in the crowd, as if motion were being slowed down. Not passing in a blur at 200 miles per hour. This is the pure mathematics of angles and aerodynamics, the physics of G-forces and friction, and the raw instinct to race. These are the masters of speed. This is Formula One.
And it's lights out and away we go!
up. Tyreek Hill, 42 points, baby. And yeah, Garrett Wilson sat on my bench 30.
Ooh, this is winning. Interesting. The greatest set are making final preparations to their setups. Thing, making sure it's in line, getting the right strategy in place. Miami, I think we see a lot of probably medium to hard is gonna be. Majority of our drivers probably 3, 4, maybe starting on, and I think you would probably see somebody like the likes of John C, who's in the back, utilizing those tires in the beginning. Try to run those out as long as they can. Expect a caution or two, or wishful thinking of a caution or two. Try to go onto the mediums and run those out the remainder of the race. Very tight track to pass. Really only do it the big sweeping left-hand turn that is turn number 6 and 7, and then obviously you have the 2 very long DRS straight, sector 2 and sector 3 respectively, and then a little bit of the stretch. But if you can nail turns 2 and 3 and going into turns 4 and 5 respectively, I think you can see a lot of ground be closed very, very quickly. But it's going to come down to whose tires are going to be set up the best and whose setup is going to be the most as those tires get worn and worn.
Starting on soft. There's sauce hards. Wants to start hards.
It'll be a long day Alpine.
I think y'all will be all right.
Think so?
And Cincinnati put yet again another potential goal. It's now 17-9. Cowboys Bengals game.
I said last
year it's actually putting up a 40-pointer. Okay.
I said last year it was an absolute making Super Bowl. I was never on the Bengals. I think they're just not a good football team.
Wow. Cooper single-handedly keeping Matt in this freaking game. Jesus Christ.
Go.
31 points. Christ, Cup.
And it's a white out.
And away we go.
Terrible start.
Oh, wow. Wow, Prince Tomo, not the start he wanted to see. He's not going to be happy having just gotten back in from Tijuana. So far, so good. As we go through the first few turns, there's a little bit of contact there between Nichols and Pat Dog, I think. We told you that we thought a lot of cars would be starting on the mediums or then going to the hards. Let's go ahead and check that out and see what it is. And surprisingly enough, the majority is hards going to mediums, quite to my surprise. Figured there would be completely the inverse. We had the numbers right. But we just had the wrong compound tire, as most drivers electing to go on that hard compound, sacrifice 1 to 2.5 seconds over top of these soft and medium compound tires, but are going to be able to go farther into this race. My guess is going to be that these drivers are probably going to try to make it caution-free, as we see a little bit more jockeying for position now.
Dude,
as Nichols gets a little out of shape there with loaded.
Here. What are we doing, boys? What are we doing?
The pit window now, these drivers are going to try to go for, as Jamie Shelby get really on that curve. If he's not careful, he's going to launch that car straight into the wall. They are definitely stacking up.
Dude. Tomo's tires
could
are
be
just
part of
infinitely smoking.
Well, this could be a part of L Plan for Big Moist and Pyrex.
I don't know
these
about
cars
that.
are just going to watch the rest wreck and then make their way through the carnage. But these drivers on the hards, I would not be surprised to see them pit somewhere between lap 18 to lap 21, maybe 22. They're going to try to use those softs at the very end of the race. I don't see many people stopping for the mediums around probably lap 15. If it's anything like Jeddah, this is technically a street circuit, but not necessarily in the true form or fashion of a street circuit. It's just that it's much more narrow. It's not like Baku or Singapore where you're actually on the city streets. It's more around the outside of that Hard Rock Stadium. But Classy Maxi on the softs, that's a surprise, as well as Alex Morris. Definitely thought we'd see John C there on the softs, but looks like, again, majority of these drivers trying to go to the latter half of the race, so I should say not the latter half, to later stages, and we'll see what happens. Pyrex and Moist now are both of our Alpine drivers running, I think maybe a little strategy, doing a little tow, try not to argue with each other too much here.
Yeah, he's got to get around me if he's that fast in that sector. I cannot hit that uphill chicane to save my life.
And we do have a caution now. Looks like Classy Maxi on the softs goes around. He has to painfully sit and wait for all these cars to go ahead and get by before he can re-enter. That puts him down from a top 10 running position back down to P19, with Priority Bean now going around as well, as he's going to just go ahead and go in the pits, slap on those hards, and probably run to the later stages of the race and try to hope for a caution, get back in sync with the rest of these drivers. Boy, that would be a good fly to be on the wall in that group chat there to hear what's going on between the Ferrari drivers. It looks like Benito is up to his normal ways again, saying, hey, spin, we'll bring you on and put the hards on. Hey, how much you can do about that. Pat Dog, though, and Nichols now starting to open up a little bit of a gap, or they are now put 1.5 seconds over top of Jamie Shelby and Hold My Tongue in the pack of drivers from P3 to P6, but these two drivers, Pat Dog and Nichols, driving very, very hard, as Loaded Beast is hoping to get back up in the mix here eventually and bring home a potential all Alfa Romeo podium. All of these drivers absolutely hitting the curb on P15, which is going to, at some point, I think be the end for one of these drivers, as they're just going to hit it wrong and get into that outside wall and get some front wing damage on that left side. Going to go ahead and drive right on board through the field as we go, as it is a little bit spread out. Jamie Shelby, nice little gap now of about 1 second back to Loaded Beast, but Hold My Dung caught on the tail of Loaded Beast now. Hold My Dung starting off very nice in that Williams, with 2 Williams in the top 5 and 2 Alfa Romeos on the top 5. Not something you would normally see in real life in Formula 1 racing, but we certainly love to see it here because, hey, this is sim racing. Anybody has a shot at any given day, but so far, 11 out of 13 races, I should say, have been won by one of 4 drivers. That being, one of 3 drivers? That being Woff, Nichols, and Zeech at 4, 3, and 3 respectively. I should say 4, 4, and 3 respectively for those drivers. Nichols hoping to get his 4th win on the year as well. I'm going to go ahead and continue riding back with Pyring Oak and Alex Morris. Both the Aston Martins also now running in tandem in the top 10. So we have 3 pairings of constructors in the top 10 with both cars getting some very good points, and now make that 4 as MCU Freedom has worked his way up from the back. Now up into P8, having a very good little start to the race for him after an absolutely horrendous qualifying and disqualification in the sprint race. And we're going to go back on board to Waffles, who's in 9th, looking to make a move on Freedom, but he's not going to be able to get the spot he wanted. Lumpy Cheeks is hot on the tail with the Ferrari of Woody Main going back. Takeshi also having started P20th, now up 8 positions into P12. Then we have J Supreme and Zeech swapping positions, as you just saw there, going to the turn number 1. John C. riding the back. He's hoping to make his way up there, but just kind of, I think, buying his time right now. Perhaps not the biggest fan of Miami, as he seems not to entirely trust his car, as we do have a caution on the track. It looks like Jamie Shelby in the Mercedes has gone around, and he's having to wait ever so long for a good clear spot to get in. He's going to be able to get going again right in front of his teammate, who now passes him in the DRS zone. Then we have Pyrex Prism and Big Moist in our Alpines in a hot pursuit of one another. Big Moist trying desperately to get into the DRS zone so he does not have to burn that ERS. But the way they're jostling up in front of him, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of a safety car action soon. It is very, very tight here for P8 through P17. No one driver separated by more than 0.8 of a second. We're going to go ahead and stay on here and do a no-no in Fatland, which is not necessarily stay on the front two drivers because, well, they're a half a second apart from each other, and this is where it's really going to come down as we have cars absolutely nose to tail as, oh, there's contact! Jay Supreme and John C. get together with Jay Supreme getting into the wall, I think it was. Oh no, there's going to be a little bit of damage there as Supreme was doing everything he could desperately to block, but the question is, did he make potentially more than 1 or 2 moves, which is a no-no due to the Takeshi rule. Lumpy Cheeks now getting a little bit of position jockeyed now as he surrenders the position to Woody but jumps back in line quickly. On those mediums, you would expect to have a little bit more pace right now than those hards. Don't really expect to see much of a fall off until probably around lap 12 to 13, as I would expect he's going to try to run those out as long as he can as well, or potentially take the undercut and do a very early on pit stop and run those hards to the very end, with the chance that he's going to make up that ground on the fresher hards. And oh, we have a caution. Party Bean retires inside the pit lane though. That's not looking good for Gene Haas.
I just have no pace here.
Nichols now out to a 1 second lead over Pat Dog. Pat Dog must have gotten a little bit of looseness there, but looking at the telemetry, we have Loaded Beast with front wing damage. We have Hold My Dung with rear wing damage. That's going to be very painful for him to deal with. MCU Freedom with some rear wing, Waffles with front wing, and Zeech with rear wing. That rear wing balance, in my opinion, a lot worse than having that front wing, because the front wing you can still kind of get the car rocking the way you want despite it having a little bit of a push. And I guess you could call it a little bit more of oversteer because you're going so far, it's going to give you a snap at the very end when the car finally gets the grip that it needs. But that rear wing damage, you just don't have the downforce to keep that back down seated as you're coming through these 2, 3, 4, in some instances 5, even close to 6 G turns. Purdy Bean obviously not having a race he would have liked, retiring on lap 4. You hate to see that for the Haas Automotive Group. Well, it's not Haas Automotive in this, but we do have now Pyrex going around as well in turn 1, 2, 3. I believe it is turn 4. Or nope, that would be turn 3. Pat Dog now 1.7 seconds back of Nichols. Something had to have happened there. We missed it, but we're staying on board for these battles because this is fantastic to watch.
How do I not get DRS there? What the fuck?
And we have Alex Morris now diving into the pits, looking like those softs are only going to last about 6 to 8 laps. Perhaps we won't see any softs then at the very end. It might be a medium pit strategy here around lap 14 to lap 18 for most of these drivers, then going on to the mediums to finish out the race. We're going to really see, though, what that's going to look like with Hold My Dung, Lumpy Cheeks, Prince Tomo, and now Alex Morris, who's potentially going on a 3-stop strategy. I don't see those mediums lasting another 21 laps. I think that's going to be a little hoping and praying here for Alex Morris. That there's going to be a late race caution to go soft, medium, soft. But now we're starting to get a little, what once was a very tight gap for P7, or excuse me, P6 through P17, now has severely opened up as we're now getting separated into about 3 groups now. You're going to have P1 and P2 very close together. Then quickly behind that, it's going to be P3, 4, 5, and then it's going to drop back to 6 through 10, and then it's really going to be 13 to 15. Oh, we got contact. We got contact. MCU Freedom gets very loose into the outside of the walls. Excuse me, not Freedom. I believe that was, yes, that was Freedom. Waffles had to check up. Woody and Zeech as well. Was Zeech getting into the outside wall? I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Waffles now picking up front wing damage as well, if it was not already there existing. Hold My Dung with 57% ERS, Waffles with 57%, and Big Moist with 43. The rest of our drivers, very, very low. Very, very low indeed, as Hold My Dung's now up into the 60% area and looking very good to potentially stage a mid-race attack on Loaded Beast. But as it is for now, he really has to preserve those medium tires for as long as he can, because he is going to be at a severe disadvantage when the rest of the field is jumping onto that medium compound tire and gaining about a second to 1.2 seconds per lap. Nichols now very comfortably with a 1.2 second lead over Pat Dog, who then has a 2. Oh, and Nichols having a little bit of an issue there as Pat Dog closes that gap from a 1.2 to a 0.4. I'm not sure what happened with Nichols there as we're riding on board with Pat Dog. We'll have to go back and look at the footage, but absolute mistake for Nichols. Potentially the commentator's curse yet again coming back to haunt another driver.
I just don't understand the chicane. I lose so much time there.
We certainly do have a battle here now, as our drivers are sitting Pat Dog at 31% wear on those hards, Nichols at 27%, Loaded Beast at 29%, and Hold My Dung really trying to get all the life he can out of those mediums, sitting at 41% wear. Lumpy Cheeks as well at 37%, now 38% wear on those mediums. And our fastest lap of the race so far is Jamie Shelby at a 1:31.762. Slightly faster than Pat Dog at the moment, who we're riding on board with now, trying to get a little bit more DRS range as they do the second DRS zone of the lap. Oh, and Pat Dog gets loose, loses a lot of ground, has a little bit of a snap oversteer, I think it was there actually. Now going to try to hopefully use that DRS, get going again. You can see these tires finally starting to fall off just a little bit, ever so slightly. This should be a one-stop race. We might see a couple two-stops. We can see how crucial it is for these drivers to get a nice clean exit and not get that snap over or understeer, depending on how their setup is and where they're getting onto the throttle. Absolutely can be devastating. Especially in that hard left-right chicane uphill. We're going to continue riding on board here with Hold My Dung as they come into the Sector 2 DRS zone. Right now, you'll see it's going to come active in about 3, 2, 1, and that DRS zone is now active. He is going to try to use every little bit of speed that he can. Coming down this straightaway, he's not quite going to get close enough, but it could set him up very nicely as we get ready to come into Sector 3 now. We're going to make a nice, easy right hand here, a little bit slow. Second, maybe third gear. Hammer it out real quick if you are brave enough. Uphill left-right chicane. Very smooth for him. Loaded, you can see, got over the curb just a little bit. Didn't appear to upset the bounce of his car.
Oh, come
now
on,
you got to
dude.
hammer that throttle as quick as you can get some
Side
grip
check
and
me?
use that DRS zone. Big Moist not too happy, it sounds like, with Jay Supreme potentially.
So the wheel to wheel, I get door bummed. caution. Somebody's slow in front of us. Merc. Freedom.
I'm sorry? The first Merc?
Freedom.
Freedom is in front of you. Yeah,
something
Jamie
happened
Shelby
to him.
sitting up in P6.
He just brought out a quick yellow to get the wall.
I've been riding on board here with the Hold My Dung, trying to see what's going on as Prying Oak is now trying to get Hunt on his tail. Freedom has rear wing damage, so he could have just gotten loose. I'm not seeing anything else hard damage for him. But Prying Oak having a good race so far, as we do have a spin now, potentially Pyrex Prism going around in Miami as well. Now having Prince Tomo get around him. Yes, that was indeed the Alpine admin of Pyrex Prism, who now has Alex Morris, I believe, hot on his tail. Well, there's really not much to say right now, as there's not a whole lot going on except for Prying Oak. Did get around Jamie Shelby and is now working to get on Pat Dog, who's now ceded a lot of positions to Loaded. I think he's got some damage, if I'm not mistaken now. Yeah, he has front wing damage, got into the wall. That's going to hurt him dearly. We'll ride on board with him real quick and see if we can't get a good little look-see here and see what the extent of the damage is. It does look like he has both sides of the wing, so it must not be too awful terrible, but it's going to be that impact with the wall that is going to keep him slow enough, putting him from a P2 position back to P4. My guess is he's going to try to change that wing, and he's going to pray for a caution so that he is not going to lose valuable time in the pits, unless he's able to get it going again rather quickly and not have any issues. These two drivers going side by side, coming out of the final stretch, coming down up to the start-finish line and get some DRS. Pat's going to try to use every little bit he can to get around Prying, going to the outside to get a nice roll to set it up for that turn 2. He's going to think better of it, back out, and now he's going to follow in line and follow Prying Oak for a little bit longer. Probably going to use that second DRS zone to his advantage. But Prying Oak not having to use a ton of ERS and is able to have and conserve even more. He's going to have about double that of Pat Dog, which should help fend off any potential challenge. As we have a Mercedes around, MCU Freedom, I believe, hard into the outside.
Oh, my God.
Freedom not having a good drive here in Miami. Zeech, though, quietly rebounding from a bad qualifying and not the best sprint race, now sitting up in a very comfortable P7, 3 seconds behind Waffles, but 1.4 seconds ahead of Woody Main, the lead Ferrari, as Classy Maxi is back running in P19. Takeshi up 11 spots from his starting position, but he is sitting with a penalty, and so is Waffles. Let's go ahead and take a look at those penalties and see what we have. We have 3 second penalties. That's going to be for multiple warnings, as Jay Supreme now bringing out a caution in Sector 2. Looks like it was not enough to bring out a caution, though. But we do have 3 drivers with multiple warnings. That's going to be 3 second penalties. If it was to finish as it is right now, Waffles and Zeech swapping positions. And then it's going to stay the same for Woody and Takeshi. But Takeshi, actually, yeah, it would stay the same. Right on board with Takeshi and Woody here. As there's contact between the 2 drivers. Oh, this is going to get Oh, this is not going to be good. Oh, they're so close. There's multiple contact between these two drivers. Woody backs out, says, I don't know if I want to be able to run with this guy right now. Both sitting at almost identical ERS, 6 to 10% for both of these drivers. It got dicey there for a little bit. Both these drivers trying to make up every last little bit of time they can, but they lost a second almost, running side by side, allowing John C. to be in a very crucial spot that could see him leapfrog 2 positions should the race finish as they run currently. While we've been watching this battle, Pat Dog did get back around Prying Oak, which we kind of expected if the front wing damage wasn't all that severe, as we got a pretty good corner cut. Actually, that wasn't even a corner cut by Takeshi. That was just a very nice line on the curb to not upset the bounce at all, as we see Woody get on the throttle a little too soon and get that back end squirrely and just really have it come unbalanced.
Sheesh. Oh,
Sending
we got him a
messages
player.
during
Each
the
round,
race.
each round.
He's lost it.
Looks like Loaded Beast finally pit. We were pretty spot on there with our guesstimates of drivers pitting somewhere around the lap 14 to lap 18 window. We've now seen 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers come in, 4 mediums to take them to the end. Big Moist, Zeech, and Freedom in the back with really nothing to lose at this point. But Loaded Beast being the first of those drivers in contentions, trying to perform a little bit of an undercut, get those mediums up to speed quicker so that as the other drivers in front of them have to pit and go through their cycle, this game does take a little bit longer to warm those tires up as they get going coming out of the pits. As we now see Prying Oak diving into the pits as well. That could very well play to his advantage. I'm sure there's some conversation going on between the two Alfa Romeo drivers saying, hey, let's see what's going to happen. Waffle's also in the pits, followed by Jamie Shelby as well. We're going to see if we have any drivers having to get any damage done. No, that's going to be a clean pit stop. Okay, we have Waffs now getting a front wing change. He's going to lose not just time, but also viable positions after a long pit stop on what is not one of the fastest straights for the pits. You have a little bit better speed coming in, but he was in front of Takeshi, and he was in front of, I believe it was Jamie Shelby at the time. Now dropping back behind both of those drivers and losing a few more on that. Those front wing changes take about 5 seconds during the pit stop, so what would normally be about a 2.2, 2.3 second stop now goes to 7 seconds, and let me tell you, it just feels as if time stands still as you watch everybody race past you, whether it be in the pits or on track. Not a feeling you really want to experience as a driver because you feel so powerless and helpless. But hey, now he's on the track, he's getting those tires up to speed, now he can battle back, and we know this young driver is resilient. He's now on the outside of Takeshi. Both drivers giving and taking. Takeshi does not have the preferred line as Waffles did. Waffles gets a little loose, but these two drivers being very good in this tight little section here, both being very clean. Takeshi showing, hey, I might have potentially learned from mistakes, not being as overly aggressive as we've seen in the past, and a very, very clean section for these two, as Nichols is now in the pits putting on the mediums and Pat Dog elects to stay out, hopefully trying to stretch these hards a little bit longer. I think we could potentially see him going to the softs, and an alternate strategy of that of Loaded. We'll see. Those tires currently running at about 57%, where Woodyman at 51%, Prince Tomo and Pyrex at 55 and 53 respectively. And then you have Classy Maxi at 43%, He's presumably going to the end, barring any safety cars or potential last lap or two run for the fastest lap. It's really up to Pat Dog now. Will the overcut play into his favor, getting on what I can only assume would be that soft compound tire and the fastest tire that our drivers have to choose from? He's got a 12.8 second lead. If he's going to pit, I think he's going to have to do it this lap or two by. As you can just see Nichols getting a better grip coming out of those turns. He's already gained 0.4 of a second in just this lap alone.
I'm losing like a second to Zeech in that fucking chicane. I don't get it. So just don't run this track ever.
Yeah. Pat Dog's still staying out yet again. He's now lost 1.4 seconds. Loaded Beast on one lap, older tires than Prying Oak. Prying Oak completed a very nice overcut on Loaded, with Loaded trying to do an undercut. Pulled my dung on the hards, going to the end on those. Now we're seeing the strategy play that I thought would have started the race. Clearly I was incorrect and was not on the right frame of mind as some of the other drivers. But I think here they realized just how valuable grip can be. Really wanted to use the grip later in the race. I think we probably expected to see at least one. I know I personally was expecting about two safety cars, full course safety cars that is, no VSCs included in that count, and we have yet to see one. One lone DNF on lap 4 of Priority Beam, but that was a self-retirement in the pit lanes, as now we see Loaded Beast getting on the outside and passing Prying Oak on that final straight of Sector 3, using the DRS to his advantage and passing with ease. But Prying Oak's going to be hot on his tail, ready to, and looking forward to battling back. He does have those one-lap fresher tires.
What's that?
I didn't even realize that was you at first.
Oh yeah, I got super loose on that little hairpin, so I just figured I'd let everyone by. My teammate was behind me anyway, I didn't want to fuck him over. I mean, I'm not getting points here, so screw anyone.
Neither am I. I just don't have
Prince
the
Tomo
pace.
now putting on the soft tires in P16. He's hoping to make a huge run in these last 9 laps. Pat Dog, it's confirmed now, he will be doing the exact same. He's on those 19-lap hards. He's going to be diving into the pits anytime now. He's lost 3 seconds. I think he's waited too long to put on those soft tires. He's now down to 9-second gap. He's going to come out probably around P2, potentially P3. He's really going to have to be talking to his teammate there and saying, hey, you either need to hold up Prying Oak if you can, or you're going to have to let me get around you very quick. Oh, no! Loaded into the wall, going into the uphill chicane, left, right. Oh no, into the wall, gets unbalanced.
Nice
oh
move.
no, I believe he's lost his entire front wing. No, he hasn't, but he has severe wing damage on that left front. He has no help on the little shark fin, as Woody Main picking up yet again another 3-second time penalty. He's now sitting at +6. Ferrari's day getting worse and worse, looking more and more like clowns in real life in the game. Unfortunate for these two drivers.
God damn, that was savage.
I've got 27% tires on hards, and I just have 0 grip. I don't know if they're overheating.
Zeech now in the pits after only having his mediums on for 4 laps. I think he's going to go for the softs and try to put on a fastest lap and score valuable points. John C. putting on soft tires. Zeech, nope, wing change for Zeech, as well as Loaded Beast and Prince Tomo. Oh, no, Prince Tomo, sorry, not already doing that. Loaded Beast and Zeech now going back. The Papayas, Team Papaya, not very happy with this result, running back in P18 and 19. Zeech being his worst enemy today, his own worst enemy, I should say. Pat Dog still running on those hards. I think he's really, really hoping for a late safety car, thinking everybody's going to go ahead and pit for softs, putting him in the catbird seat to be able to retain P1. I don't know if that's going to happen. He's going to have to pit sooner or later. And with the gap there is now, he's got about a 13-second gap over Prying Oak. And then 18. He's sitting no worse than really P3 right now if he were to pit soon. But as we come around the start-finish line one more time, clicking onto lap number 22, he stays out still on those hard tires, as does Pyrex Prism, also hoping for a late safety car that's going to give him a cheap pit stop, because we know for the most part, 90% of these drivers would pit for the soft tires. Only a few on those mediums are really going to say, you know what, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to stay out with the mediums. Yeah, they might be faster than me, but they're going to have to deal with everybody else behind me as well.
These detection zones are just fisting me in the ass.
Pat Dog's still running with slight wing damage as well. You have to think he's going to have that turned off, because he does not want to give up those 5 seconds, but the gap is shrinking.
Safety car, please.
Nah, he's moving again. I think he just clipped the wall.
I have no
Pat Dog
tires.
hoping to breathe a sigh of relief. It does not happen, but again, that gap is closing. Now 5.5 seconds back to Nichols, 13 seconds, 13 and a half seconds back to Prying Oak, and then another 6.5 back to Jamie. So he's still, oh, we got another caution. We got two cars loaded and classy together. Uh-oh. Will these two drivers get going? They are stuck sitting hard and heavy. Ooh, wing damage too classy. Wing damage too loaded, potentially. I don't necessarily know if I see any with loaded, but classy going around on those hards.
Yeah, it's so easy to slide in that chicane. Oh my god.
Chicanes where I lose all my time too. I don't get how these guys are getting
They're
like
cutting,
a fucking
you cut the
second
first
on me.
section. You cut the left turn.
Gotcha.
If you're talking about the Sector 2 uphill left-right, we've seen them run, not necessarily cut, but run right on the curb to kind of get a more straight line shot.
The left side,
but on the turn 15, there are some that go complete to the inside of the curb. But per the Fat Limits rules, it is legal. John C. now moving up into the points with Big Moist riding 1.5 seconds back on him, and Hold My Dung 1.1 back as well, as Alex Moore's diving into the pits in that Aston Martin, hoping to get some valuable points, as we now see Zeech going for fastest lap, which he does get with ease, a 1:29.481. That's going to be about a half a second faster than the next fastest time, which would have been Waffles. Pat Dog's gap in the lead now down to 4.2 seconds. I think he might be trying to wait it out still. We've seen a little bit of flirtation with the safety car, now having multiple cars get into it, but we have not seen that full course safety or VSC come out. That gap now, let's just call it virtually non-existent, because it is below 4 seconds. It was out to 12 seconds almost at one point. I think he's made, and now we see him diving in. He's waited long enough. He's going to put on the softs. He's going to do everything in his power to vehemently run down Nichols, but I just don't think he's going to have the gap or the time to be able to do it. We see the hards going on, no wing change there, or I'm sorry, the softs going on for the Alfa Romeo, no wing change, as he is now out of the pits. He's going to drop back to, I think, P5 now, actually. I think he waited too long. He waited too long, but he's going to get out of the pits side by side with Waffles, and he gets a little loose. Oh my goodness, those cold softs not being his friend as we come out of the pits on the right-hand side. He's going to have to be careful until those get up to speed. You see a little bit of a corner cut there, doing everything in his power to get those tires heated. He needs one position to finish in the points, and he has 5 laps to run down not just P3, which he's hot on the tail of, but also P2, which is the Aston Martin Racing Prying Oak driven car running in the P2 position, as Nichols now out to an 8-second lead, as we now see Pat Dog looking to the inside. It is a 3-car battle for that final podium position between Waffles, Pat Dog, and Jamie Shelby. Jamie Shelby on the mediums, all the drivers in the top 10 on the mediums, with the exception of Pat Dog. We do expect some fast laps out of him, but Jamie Shelby now picking up another time penalty as well. If it was not his first, it definitely is now. Let's go ahead and look at those, penalties. It is a 3-second penalty for Jamie Shelby, 3-second penalty for Takeshi, 6 seconds for Woody, and 3 seconds for Waff. Pat Dog really doesn't have to battle with them too much, as he was going to be guaranteed the points. He just basically has to coast home and be within 3 seconds, but knowing Pat Dog, he's gonna try to run down Prying. He wants that P2 position because that is a 3-point differential in what can be a great day for not just Nichols in P1, but Waffles and Pat Dog, all is trying to chase down Zeech, who's in the P17 position currently, but P1 in the points. If we go ahead and jump over and look at the point standings as they run currently, Zeech going into today had a 21-point lead. That is gone. Nichols catapulting up into a 4-point lead over Zeech if they finish as they run right now. Waffles picking up 18 points, sitting about 7 out as there's now a caution. It sounds like Big Moise going around as he talked about how difficult some of those chickens. And we have another one is Loaded Beast also around. We have 2 different yellow sectors within Sector 1. 2 different yellow flags within Sector 1, I should say. Tough race for Big Moise, who had worked his way back and was sitting in a points position for that, riding in P11, picking up a single point, now looking like it is just a faint reminiscent of a dream for that Alpine driver, as Pyrex now trying to get back up into a potential position for points, but with only 3 laps to go and sitting at a 3.5-second disadvantage over Prying, over Hold My Dung, who would have to get around in order to have a chance at Tomo, our lone driver on PC this season. As Lumpy goes around now as well. We can really see, and we got another one as well. MCU Freedom goes around too at the very end of Sector 3 going into the pit straight. Oh no, and we got more cars going around. There are now yellow sectors everywhere. Drivers absolutely pushing it to the limits. It's not looking too great for some of these drivers. Pat Dog, though, would love to take away that fastest lap from Zeech.
Every time, man. Every time I'm in the points, I spin myself out. Oh well. Whatever.
Should I be an asshole and try and take the fastest lap?
Well, I'm done. I'm in fucking 16th. I don't give a fuck. Race is over.
I mean, that
everybody back here is putting the sauce on.
by Zeech.
Everybody's putting the sauce on. I ain't got nothing to race for. This race is over. And
we still have a battle for +3, Takeshi +3 as well, and Woody Main with a +6 as they run right now. They're roughly P9, maybe P10. There might still be hope yet for some of these drivers on the outside looking in to sneak into the points due to penalties assessed in-game by the in-game stewards. Has yet to be determined if Woody's going to challenge any of those. We'll have to wait and see if there's any video evidence that will be submitted.
Yeah, that left-hander, you got to take the inside of that.
In another news, Cincinnati scored a touchdown and is going for a 2-point conversion to tie even, or to draw even with the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of protection there for Joe Burrow, who's looking, finds a wide open Tyler Boyd in the end zone. We are all even at 17 apiece with 3:45 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Fuck the Cowboys.
Jones leading yet another come-from-behind victory for the New York Giants, who are now 2-0 on the year in a surprising change of events. In a game where Saquon Barkley did not have very many yards on the ground. I think it was like 4 yards through the first half.
Ugh.
4 attempts maybe. It was not looking good.
Austin Eckler hasn't done shit for me this year.
Kyler Murray had all day against the Las Vegas to scramble at 20 seconds before running it in for a touchdown. Lord.
Coming last.
That's some prevent D if I've ever seen it.
Shut up, Mark.
We're still running on board here with Waffles, who's hoping to get around Jamie for that P4 position and taking home 12 points. Oop, Prince Tillman and Freedom now swapping positions. Dung right there with him. We're going to go ahead and jump to that battle, as that is neck and neck. They are in the DRS zone, driving down. Freedom going to go ahead and get around Tomo, as we have a late drive down in by Dung, and Pyrex now also hot on their tails. Dung doing everything he can to make those mediums work, as Pyrex is now very close. There could be a wreck here soon between any one of these drivers, as they are all racing very, very hard, tooth and nail, fighting it, as Freedom's going to get a little bit on the inside, and the other driver's going to go wide, and Nigger is very, very close now. We have
Purple, yeah.
Tomo,
Sector
Dung,
3.
Pyrex. All hot on each other. Pat Dog now just 1.8 seconds behind Prying Oak. I think he waited too long, hoping for a safety car. Loaded, stealing the fastest lap. Not going to make a difference. He's in P17. That just hurts Zeech. Zeech not going to be able to keep 1 point. It will remain a 4-point lead for Nichols if the race finishes as they run now. Again, of course, this is all... Oh, and Prince Tumble picks up a 3-second penalty. He was on the cusp of having a singular point after coming in hot from Mexico, getting in, jumping in the driver's seat, firing up the PC, getting the wheel ready, and he's going to now lose it as Tomo and Freedom both have penalty time added on. Hold My Dung and Pyrex fighting for that last points position. It is the last lap. It is no holds bar. We have, this is the best show we have right now for you to watch.
Shut up, Mark.
Nichols out to a 9-second lead. 1.3 seconds now the gap. 1.4 seconds now the gap from Prying to Pat Dog. And here comes Prying. Oh god, I always mess up Prying and Pyrex. Good lord. Pyrex looking to go to the outside. He's going to try to run it around. He's on the outside using every little bit of the corner to get a nice diamond. He gets on the back of Hold My Dung, has to back out. That's killing him as both drivers are now using every little bit of ERS they have. Oh, that was valuable time lost as he got on the brakes to avoid getting into the back of Hold My Dung. That's a 5-second penalty now, as drivers have not learned you can't bump people in the back and spin them without repercussions. We got some glitching going on now. It looks like Pyrex got a little loose, but hard to tell with that little bit of a glitch. But he is now running on board. Nichols picking up your championship and recapturing the points lead, barring any penalties that are going to be submitted. But he's been pretty much out on his own on a Sunday drive. I don't foresee that happening. Prying Oak coming home in second. That's a great result for that driver. Pat Dog in P3 as they all are crossing the line as they ran. It's going to come down to what does the penalty times look like for everybody. Oh no! And Prying. Oh, Prince Tomo goes around sideways in front of Pyrex, costing him any chance at getting that final points position. Oh, that is absolute heartbreak. Absolute heartbreak. We'll go ahead and get Nichols, see if we can't get him in here for a quick little discussion here at the end to see what happens.
Who crashed at the end?
Loaded. I was doing donuts and Loaded just rammed into me.
Oh, Lord. And this is why we can't have nice things.
Get him, Nancy.
Coming. Oh, you guys ghosted. Oh, I wanted to
Get him.
destroy you.
And Classy doing donuts before he finishes the line, taking himself a victory lap.
Yeah, I don't even know, like...
And he drives it into the wall.
Not my race. Congrats, Nichols.
And there we go. We have Nichols, our unofficial winner on the day. Nichols, looked like for the most part it was pretty much a Sunday drive for you there. What were you thinking as you saw the laps wind down and Pat Dog still staying out? What we can only presume is waiting for that caution. Now, for you, was it always the idea to go to the mediums around that lap 16, lap 17, really that lap 15 to 17 window, or did you think about, hey, depending on how the race is going, I might go to the softs? Sure. Absolutely. Initially I thought that Pat Dog's strategy was okay. We Nichols and the majority of the field are going in for those mediums, in that 14 to 17 window. I really thought probably around maybe lap 20 is when we would have seen him dive in. It's a little bit of a because we know those softs can make it about 8 laps really, but I think he could have maintained the gap he had put on you. Or at least been much, much closer than what he was, having to try to run everybody down and battle with 3 cars, which ultimately cost him the chance at the P2 position. But hey, a great result for Williams with both drivers finishing the day in the top 10. So that definitely helps on the constructors. And as they finished, not only you the unofficial race winner, but you are now the unofficial points leader, having swung a gap to now +4 to your favor over Zeech in the point standings. How do you take that momentum on into the Wednesday race? Awesome. We love to see it. Hey, and Pat Dog and Waffles, who both had some decent finishes in the top. Pat Dog and Waffles going 3 and 4 as well. So they also are closing in that gap. It could very well be a 4-horse race at the end of this. We wish you the best of luck, and we will see you on Wednesday for round number 15 in Spain. Everybody, thank you very much again for joining us tonight. As always, thank you to our in-car commentators, Lumpy and Big Moist. Not the results they were hoping for, but we also want to give another congratulations to Nichols, our unofficial winner on the day. Crying Oak with a phenomenal drive, finishing P2, being in the top 5 all day as well as Pat Dog. And Takeshi had a nice drive. Very good, clean side-by-side, working his way back from P20 up to P6. The kid ran side by side. I don't think he'll have very many submittals, if any, today. I'll be surprised. We will catch you all Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Tier 1 division of Fat Limits F1 League, live from Barcelona. Have a great evening, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.